Yep. Balk into the mic, please. Balk into the mic. Oh, don't peck at the mic. I don't know what that's going to sound like. Welcome back, casual gardeners. This video is all about what's happening in my garden on November 20th this year here in Zone 6. So we are about a week out from Thanksgiving. There's still stuff going on, even though it is Zone 6. So we're going to start out talking about how is my greenhouse lettuce doing, and I'm going to pick some. Then we're going to go outside and I'm going to show you how I have put my beds to bed for the season. And then I'm going to take you over to the chickens, and if they cooperate, I'll tell you everybody's name, because I've named all but 2 of them, and we'll explain why those 2 are just called the twins. As you can see, my lettuce is unreal right now. It has grown so well in the greenhouse. And I'm just going to pick a couple leaves off each plant. I'm going to take them inside and wash them, and then I'm going to eat them. Oh my gosh, look at these big, beautiful leaves. So as I mentioned in a previous video, growth of your frost-resistant greenhouse plants this time of year is going to be pretty slow because they're getting less light, and they're getting pretty cold. And so things slow way down. My goal with the lettuce is to eventually harvest Christmas salad, which we're still more than a month out. Well, yeah. So I'm going to go easy on my pickings and just kind of do a little grazing. And even though I'm taking it easy, you can see I'm actually getting a fair bit of leaf material off my plants. Oh, these are fun. We like them. Some more black-seeded Simpson in here. I like a variety of leaves in my lettuce harvest just because it's aesthetic. Now, theoretically, I shouldn't have to wash this because they're not exposed to poopy birds. But in practice, my greenhouse is a little bit grungy. I don't clean it as thoroughly as I probably should. And food safety is just a really good idea. So I'm going to take these in, I'm going to give them a good rinse in the sink, and then I'm going to spin them down and enjoy them. Look, I hardly touched the lettuce, and look how much I got. So here's the salad I picked. Just to go over everything that's going on in the greenhouse, I've still got some nasturtiums and some sweet alyssum kicking out in my planter bench that I built, but also here's this tomato plant that has not died and is setting some respectable looking little fruits. It's going to get frosty, so we'll see what happens. I kind of doubt anything's going to ripen. I've also got my rosemary. It looks like it's getting ready to flower again, and some oregano chilling in my greenhouse, which means that I should, in theory, be able to pop out and pick fresh herbs for, turkey's really good with rosemary. Now that I have switched to tilling from no-till gardening, this is what I want my garden beds to look like when I put them to bed for the season. I've completely covered the soil with a mix of lawn clippings and leaves because it's autumn. We have a lot of leaves. I actually didn't wind up putting any of my leaves in green waste because using them for mulch used them all. The benefit of this, you can see I've got a little garlic sticking out a couple places. It's been unseasonably warm. This will help protect some of the garlic that sprouted prematurely. The tips of my garlic may still get frostburn, and those specific plants may not do well. Last season, I got a lot of frost heave in my garden beds because I left them unprotected, and it actually squirted most of my garlic cloves out of the soil entirely. I was lucky they still grew, but that could account for the fact that everything looked a little bit weird. So hopefully this year, by protecting my soil with a layer of mulch and kind of composting it in place. I'm going to reduce the amount of garlic cloves that are literally ejected from my soil. I have already tilled this bed, and I can't till the part of the bed that has garlic in it in the spring. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to pull back a lot of this mulch as things warm back up so that I am not interfering with the growth of my garlic and everything can warm up in a reasonable amount of time. Over here you can see another bed. Got my pile of composting in place stuff. The sweet alyssum is still looking really good. It likes some of the cooler weather. This is a really good demonstration of how unseasonably warm things have been. My tomato plants are all dead. My pepper plants are all dead, but certain plants are still leafy and flowery and having a great time. Behind me you can see that some of the leaves did make their way into my compost pile as well, and there's nothing wrong with that. Compost your leaves. They are a treasure and you should enjoy them. This is Marianne Lavoisier. I named her, and this is one of the twins. So Marianne Lavoisier is named after Antoine Lavoisier's wife. Antoine Lavoisier was a famous chemist who lost his life during the French Terror. Because back in his day, all the scientists were noblemen, and I think the French had an understandable anger at the nobility. Marianne Lavoisier carried on his work after he was dead, and he did some really important work. This girl on this arm is Queen Zenobia. Zenobia was like an OG badass. So she was the empress of the Palmyrene Empire, which for 3 days was bigger than the Roman Empire. I don't know who's on my head. Let's see, can we do a process of elimination? All right, I believe that Willa Brown is on my head. Yeah, that was her. So Willa Brown was the first Black woman aviator, and that makes her a badass in her own right. And that name was suggested to me by actually a viewer or a subscriber. So thank you very much for the idea. This is either the same one of the twins that you already saw or the other twin. I can't tell them apart. They're exactly the same color. They're a couple of my favorite birds. They're so sweet. Such sweet girls. Huh, aren't you sweet? Yes. So, I mean, I love them and I want to name them. And I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to name them after I get them some little chicken leg bands. Oh, thank you. This is Eleanor Roosevelt. Eleanor Roosevelt is one of my wife's heroes. And so we needed to have an Eleanor Roosevelt chicken. A lot of people do not understand how amazing Eleanor Roosevelt was and how much she contributed to the feminist movement. So we're honoring Eleanor Roosevelt with a chicken. She is deceased, so I have no idea how she would feel about that. I'm hoping more flattered than not. So short versions of the names, because nobody wants to call a chicken by her first and last name. Marianne, Eleanor, where's Willa? Willa's over there. Zenobia, and for now, the twins. I've observed them all successfully drinking from the heated nipple waterer. So I've got another water source for them that I just fill up with warm water in the mornings, just as kind of a treat. I call it the chicken coffee. And they really like just having some sips of that warm water in the morning when it's cold, and I feel exactly the same. I feel the same, little one. You want to come up, Willa? You mind if Willa comes up, Marianne? No, wait. Yeah, you're Marianne. There we go. So this is a good view of Willa not on my head. She's a cutie. We love Willa. It's super important if you live in a place like Zone 6 where things are super cold in the winter, that you have a sheltered place for your chickens. And I think you can survive without heated water, but oh my gosh, it's going to involve so many water changes. If you have a day job, and I do, you're going to want a heated waterer of some kind. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel if you're not a subscriber. Like this video if you enjoyed it. I mean, how can you not enjoy a video with adorable chickens in it? Hi, girls. I hope the mic's picking up the noises they make because I think chicken noises are adorable. So I highly recommend, if you're going to handle your chickens like this, that you have, I have actually a shirt that I wear when we do this. Usually it's not the shirt I like to record in. So this shirt's going to go in the laundry when we're done. As you handle your chickens, keep in mind that chickens are a source for salmonella. They do not control where they poop. They just poop wherever they... Girls, don't fight over me. There's plenty of Dustin to go around. So they just poop wherever they are, and then they walk wherever there's poop. So yeah, I'm going to launder this shirt. I'm going to thoroughly wash my hands and I guess my hair. And good chicken hygiene is a really important component of being a chicken parent. So just keep that in mind, all right? Thank you so much for joining me here in my garden and in my greenhouse and in my chicken run. Do you want to say bye to them, Willa? Do you want to say bye? No? I hope you have a wonderful time in your own whichever of those things that you have.